We'll
Yeah,
take
I'll
up.
just start the recording. Okay. Okay, good morning again. Thank you for joining and welcome to the today's cloud networking training session. And we will be going through cloud networking for the next 5 to 6 hours. And we have our trainer Robin, who is going to be taking us through the session. He's going to help you understand the concept, and we'll go through some of the demos and practicals as well. And before we dive into the session, I just want to share that the session is recorded. You do not need to record in your end. And secondly, there is a certificate of participation. To claim that, you need to fill out the form that I'll be sharing at the end of the session. So make sure you fill it out. And also along the way, we will share the links that is important and to be joining our community for upcoming session that are useful for you for your career and training in the chat box so that you can just get updated from our upcoming sessions. And that is all from my end. Let's just dive into the session over to the trainer.
Hey, thank you, Surak, for coordinating, and it's been arranging a session on in the Microsoft Cloud networking here. So, and welcome everyone, and happy Tuesday, everyone. Once again, welcome back to Microsoft Azure networking program here. So, as you everyone knows, it's a regular webinar. We normally do it on in the Microsoft products, Microsoft service here. And today's webinar, we are taking a new topic. It's called Microsoft Cloud Networking here. And you may be remembering, like in our last session, like last week, we had a discussions about cloud fundamentals. And this week, we thought like we'll do a complete dedicated webinar on in the cloud networking here. So we already had a discussion about understanding about a cloud computing here. We understood like how cloud computing it's been defined from a general perspective, and we had a discussion about how cloud it's been organized or it's been defined on in a Microsoft side also. We had a nice interactive discussion on in understanding about service models like infrastructure as a service. We had a discussion about a platform as a service. We had a discussion about software as a service, and we have been seeing how a different delivery model is been coming on in a cloud here, something like a private cloud, public cloud, hybrid cloud, multi-cloud, everything, right? And we had a separate webinar happen on in a Microsoft Compute also, how practically you can able to provision or how practically you can able to implement a virtualized server on in the cloud here, and how we can able to connect remotely, and what are the management option is been coming on in the Microsoft side here. Today we are specifically it's been discussing about what is the need of a networking in case if you want to enable a networking here, how practically you can able to enable on in the cloud side here. You may be able to, or you may be already using a network concept on in your uh, on premises or a legacy scenario here, right? If someone has been asking you what is the need of a cloud networking here, what is your understanding, team? Let me ask this question here. Why do we need a networking on in a infra side here? So what is the purpose of that here? Can you comment it on the chat here? So in case if you want to, or in case if you have been enabled Microsoft resource, it can be server or a storage or a security products here. All of us are already aware, or already you may be using on in your on-premises scenario. Networking is the one of the basic component, right? For example, like if you take any kind of the communication, you may be already aware that in case if anyone need to make any kind of a sharing of your I can see there is a comment from Neil. Audio is not there. Surag, I think we are good with audio here because my secondary device also, I'm getting a good quality audio here. Any issue with the audio team? Can everyone please confirm the audio? And can you please confirm, are you able to see my screen here? Can your team confirm your audio here? Jan, Jode, Surag. Can anyone confirm? Are you able
Yeah,
to hear me?
the audio is fine. I can see
I
a lot
think.
of people given thumbs up as well.
Oh, okay, okay. Because I'm not seeing that one. Okay, I think then Neil, look like it's a problem from your side. Uh, okay, great. Thank you. So right now we are discussing about what is the need of a networking here. So you may be already aware. The purpose of the networking, it's been like using for a resource sharing, right? For example, like if someone want to share a printer, or if someone want to use a internet connection, or in case if you are hosting a service and that needs to be accessed from the internet, definitely you need a networking here. So basically, we can say a communication, it's been enabled with the help of a network components here. So that will be providing you scalability, or that's be providing you flexibility, cost efficiency, or in case if anyone want to access the resource remotely, or in case if you want to enable any of the security or monitoring solutions here, that's been done with the help of a networking here. Now, when you start using a networking on in your on-premises solutions, so you may be seeing like many components are involved here, right? So you may be remembering like you have a component, something like a Ethernet card is being involved here. That may be the one component you may be using on in your on-premises scenario, right? It's called Ethernet card. You may be seeing this has been available on in your laptop, or it's like your motherboard of your server, which normally it's been like a device that will help you to enable a connect into the network here. Or you may be notice here, you have a MAC address has been coming, or you may be notice here, you need IP address for enabling a communication, and you may be able to see like you have a components like inter-networking devices like a hub, or you may be seeing like we have a switch may be available, or you may be heard about a device called routers, or you may be having a device called firewalls, or you may be able to see like access point, right? So like this you have a mini component which can be software based or a virtual based, or you may be having a hardware components are available, even the cabling also, right? You may be seeing like a patch cable or a patch panels, right? Which also it's been part of enabling a networking on in your on-premises kind of a scenario. So we understood if you want to enable any of the resources here, you have a different resources been available. You may be able to see like you have a resources been available, and with the help of that you can able to see like you have a different components, physical components are available. With the help of that you can able to configure it here. Now what will happen if you configure similar kind of a setup on in a cloud kind of a scenario here? Are we using any kind of a physical component? You may be already understood if you are using a cloud infrastructure, there is no physical components are involved here, and all the component which has been available here, that has been like it's been configured in a such a way that if everything it's been like it's been the virtualized mode here. That may be the option here, right? You may be able to see that the way you can able to use it here. Now, so like we need to wait for a minute. Others I can see like couple of this one here. Okay, great. So I think we'll go ahead here. So I was just saying here, when we start working on in a cloud scenario here, in a on-premises side, you may be using a different kind of hardware or a physical asset. But when you are moving on in the cloud here, you have able to see like these physical components are not possible here. So you may be able to see like all this a physical component. It's been like it's been you may be able to see like you have a option has been available, which can be configured in a virtual mode here. So let's try to understand about a first component called vNIC here. So we are trying to discuss about the first component called vNIC here. So vNIC is nothing. It's a device. You may be able to see like in an on-premises scenario, we have a concept called Ethernet card here, right? So you may be able to see like you have a solution, it's been available, or any entry and exit point your or connectivity on in your on-premises scenario. It's normally been done with the help of a network interface card here, right? If you type here, you may be able to see this is kind of card. Normally we are using on in the on-premises devices here, right? Where you are connecting your RJ45 cable and this RJ45 cable, finally it's been terminated on in the IO-BOS, or IO-BOS will be connected to internet networking device, and internet network device will be connected onto the router or the L3 switch, right? So similar way here also, you are not going to use any physical network interface card here. Instead of that, you will be using a virtual network interface card here. So the point here, if someone has been using a vNIC, vNIC stands for virtual network interface card here. So whatever communications you are doing, that's been configured in a virtual network interface card here. So whatever communication has been coming, that's going to be enabled with the help of a vNIC here. So what is the purpose of your virtual network interface card here? This is going to be the representation, or it's a virtual representation of your physical network interface card, which we were using on in your on-premises scenario. And this network connectivity of your servers, it's been allowed through this physical network card here. So NAC point, it's been going to be the entry and exit point of your communication here. So whatever NAC card or whatever vNIC which you're creating here, that will be owning a IP address, that will be configured with a MAC address, and all your security rules. For example, like if you're configuring an NSG rule, or if you're trying to enable a firewall rule, or in case if you're enabling any of the isolated communication, that will be configured on top of this network interface card here. Now, all your load balancing here, for example, like in case if you want to enable any of the traffic management, or in case if you want to integrate any of other cloud platform like AWS or Azure or Oracle Cloud, your vNIC is going to be the critical, and it's going to be the essential service which will allow you to do a multi-cloud networking here. Now, where exactly this vNIC will be created? This will be created on top of your virtual machines, and the virtual network, it's going to be created on top of your containers on in a cloud, that basically known as a virtual bridges here. And if you take a Microsoft, or it's been like AWS, or it's like Amazon, this can be the cloud instance which is enabling the communication here. Now let's go and see how practically a vNIC it's been created on in a cloud scenario here. How practically this has been done on in a on-premises, you may be already knowing in an on-premises scenario, this has been by default available on in your server motherboard, right? If you take any physical host, for example, like you take a Cisco UCS, or it's like IBM's or Dell or HP servers, by default you may be noticed on top of your motherboard, on top of your PCI Express or a PCS route, this network interface card, it's been available here. That means physical asset has been available here. Right now we are trying to see how a vNIC it's been created on in a Microsoft cloud here, and what are the options it's been getting here. How many network card you can able to create it here. For understanding this concept here, let me do one thing. Let me go and create one server here. Possible like I'll try to create one server in a East US location here. I'm trying to create one server in a East US location. Let me go and create one server here. This server I'm trying to create on in a East US location here. Trying to create one Azure VM, which has been going to be hosted on top of your Windows server here. Then let's go and see how many network card by default it's been supported, and what are the options it's been available here. For understanding this concept, let me try to take you to the Microsoft portal here. Rather than using a PowerShell, let me try to use your GUI based methodology here. Let me go to the resources here. Let me refresh here. There is no resource available here. Let me create one here. Trying to create a virtual machine here. Resource group, let me give it as a production here. I'm trying to create a first server. Let me try to give as a server 1. Trying to create in a east west location. Trying to create in a east west location. The operating system have been selected. It's a Windows Server 2019 here. Let me try to create this. Review and create. You may be able to see like I just review and created here. You can able to see like deployment it's got completed here. If you go back to this virtual machine, you may be already knowing what is the VM it's been created here. If you want to see this virtual machine here, on the resource panel, like whatever panel or whatever option which you are seeing on the left side, this is basically it's been knowing as a resource panel here. So whatever option you can able to see, it's called a resource panel here. So you can able to, so you may be able to see like you have option has been available here. So you may be able to see like resource panel here. If you click on the server here or the virtual machine here, this will be listing all the available server list here. See, right now we have only one server has been available here. In case if you have a more than one server will be available, all that server details will be displayed here. Now you need to remember something. Sometimes I have seen like people are making a statement or a concern. When I connected onto the virtual machine here, you may be able to see like I don't have an option available on into the cloud. You may be able to see like you have an option has been available. You can able to see like virtual machine or the servers are not showing here. It can be because in the middle of the screen here, you may be able to see there are few filtering options here. See, there is a few filtering options are available. In case if you have not selected right subscription, you may be not able to see your VM here. For example, like if you type it here, you may be notice here, we have implemented one server and one of the SME or one of the engineer, they are trying to connect onto the portal and they are not seeing this VM here. Are you able to see the VM? Right now, no, right? So rather than making a concern or a service now ticket saying that my VM has been missing here, what is the real reason behind this one? The engineer or the person not selected the right subscriptions here. So at any point of time, if you are trying to do any kind of a troubleshooting and someone is saying like my SQL server is been not reachable or my server is been not pingable, better you can ask one more information. Thank you for your ticket. Can you please provide me your subscription details also? Rather than collecting only the server details, better to collect details about your subscription also. So you have an option here to check whether you have a access onto that subscription here. Way I'm saying here, sometimes your organization may be enable a governance with the help of a concept called RBAC here. That's called role-based access control here. So I'm saying like in some of the organization, they may be enable a concept called governance here. That's normally it's been done with the help of a concept called role-based access control here. So if there is a permission or if there is any governance, if you have been implemented on in your system with the help of a RBAC concept, you will not be in a position to see that particular resource on top of your Azure portal here. So my point, at any point of time when you're trying to create a VM, better to collect these details, asking like, share me your VM details along with your subscription here. So that may be the right approach you can follow in your day-to-day operations here. Now, when you go back onto your server here, when you go back onto the server here, you have a server has been created, and you may be noticed if you click on the all resources option, which has been showing on the left side here, you can see along with your VM. Right now, I'm not select the right subscription. Let me apply the second one also. You may be able to see here, you have a all resources been available here. See, you may be able to see like you have a resources been available here. You can see here, along with your VM, there is a network card. It's been created automatically here. See, there is a network card. It's been created here. So what is the purpose of this VNIC here? You may be able to see like network card. It's been going to be the entry and exit point of all the communication of the server here. You're getting the point here. You may be able to see like in a Azure side here, your VM will be automatically by default. It's been created along with your VM here, and that's going to be the entry and exit point here. So that may be the important point you can able to notice here. For example, like let me try to create one more VM here. Then you can see here. You may be able to see like I'm just creating one more here. I'm just trying to create one more VM here. Just trying to create here. Let me try to create one more VM here. Trying to create with a name called server 2. Trying to create one more server here. Server 2. I just created one more here. You can see here it's been validation completed and it's been progressing here. Let's wait the deployment to be completed here. Right now we are trying to see what will happen if you are trying to create one more VM here. Let's wait. Currently this VM creation, it's in progress here. Currently the deployment, it's been progressing here. You may be able to see the second VM also it's got created here. Now, if you connect onto this portal here, you may be notice here a second VM also it's been created in the East US data center here. And when you click on this resources here, you may be notice there is another network interface card. It's got created and that's been assigned to your server 2 here. See, if you see or if you review this name here, there is another network interface card created for the server 2 and it's been connected onto the same place where is your VM has been hosted here. So it's giving a confidence here or it's giving a information to us here. Whenever you are trying to create any VM, your VM and VNIC both are created onto the same place here. So one of the learning currently we have here, VM communication on in the cloud, it's going to be happen with the help of your VNIC here. So the point right now we have been seeing, VNIC it's been created automatically. That's been there is no manual intervention is been needed here, and all your entry and exit of your communication to the host, it's going to be happen with the help of a VNIC here. And you maybe notice here, one NAC, possible like I can say, one NAC is created default here. Now another point you maybe notice here, your VNIC and VM both are hosted on the same location here. So the moment when you create a VM here, your VM and the VNIC both are created onto the same location here. Now you may be having a question here. Do I need to pay any amount for VNIC here? So that may be the one question, or that may be the one doubt everyone is having here. Why this doubt has been coming here? Because when you start using a cloud here, you may be able to see this Microsoft Azure, it's been working in a kind of a OpEx model here, right? So in a Microsoft Azure scenario here, Microsoft VNIC, it's been giving a free of charge here. So whatever VNIC you are creating here, VNIC it's a free and there is no cost is been associated here. Only the cost is been coming if your VNIC is been configured with a public IP address. In case if you configure, or in case if you want to use for any kind of a external communication here, then you may have to pay some extra amount here. So there is a public IP address if you're using, then you have to assign or you have to pay extra amount for that here. So there is a public IP address, there is a charge, it's been coming separately here. So my point here, VNIC it's completely free of cost. There is no charge is been involved. All the public IP address which has been configured here, there is a cost is been associated, and all the data transfer it's been happening here. So whatever outbound data transfer from your host is been coming, we have to pay the money for that here. Or in case if you are configuring any of the security appliance or any network security products on top of your VNIC, for example, like you maybe start using firewall, right? You maybe heard about firewall, maybe the one service here. So for example, like if you use a firewall or you maybe use any of the services here, right? So if you maybe use like if you use a firewall, or if you use a component like NSG, if you use a component like a firewall or NSG here, you have to pay the extra amount for that here. I'm just saying like at any point of time, if you use a NSG or a firewall, or if you use application gateway or VPN gateway, all this is components which has been associated with your VNIC, it's been chargeable here. So my point, VNIC has been free here, but whatever additional service which you are consuming or whatever additional services we are opting on in the Microsoft here, that will be charged in a how much data it's been being transferred here, or what kind of security policy have been configured here. So you can create n number of VNIC here, multiple network interface can be configured. There is no extra cost here. Only for the outbound data transfer, it's been billed here. There is no data transfer charge for your inbound connection, only for the external communication, we have to pay the money here. That may be the one important point all of us need to remember here. I'll pause it here for taking a questions. Any questions from anyone? I request everyone to post it on the chat here. In case if you are good, you can comment it's a good year, good to go. In case if you have a question, you can use your mic or you can post it on the chat also. If you're good, can you comment it on the chat? I request you to just confirm if you're good. Please comment on the chat here. So that will ensure we both are on the same page here. All good so far. Thank you, Anita. Aninda. So waiting response from others also. So I can see only one comment on the chat here. I can see only one comment here. So I just believe here. Yes, there will be a additional charge will be coming here for the any data transfer here. So that may be the point. You need to remember the separate charge. It's been coming here. So there is additional cost. It's been coming with the public IP address case. So let's go back to the next point here. When I was been discussing about delivering, or it's been like when we are discussing about delivering on into a creation of a VNIC here, you may be understood the moment when you are start discussing here, the configurations are delivered in such a way that there is a one NIC automatically it's been created here. Now definitely you may be having a question. Is there any possibility of creating multiple network here? Yes, there is a option has been available here whenever you are going for configuring any kind of a solutions here. You have a option has been available where you can able to create multiple network interface card here. So if you go back onto the server here, if you collect it here, in case if you want to add multiple network interface card, you can select that service here. Now, if you remember your on-premises scenario here, you may be using a concept called NAC teaming here, right? So you may be able to see like NAC teaming, that was the concept on used on in a on-premises scenario on in the cloud here, right? Now, when it is coming on in a Azure side here, there is no option has been supporting on into the NAC teaming here. But in the cloud, for enabling a isolation, for example, like if your architect are thinking like, I want to do some kind of network segmentation. You may be heard about like a separating a traffic on in a network side here, right? Like a front end or a back end or a management or a backup. In case if you want to configure a different subnet, or in case if you want to configure a different virtual network, you may need multiple network card here. Or in case if you want to configure a dedicated NIC for configuring all kind of your NSG roles here. For example, like you want to isolate whatever data, sensitive data or sensitive services inside your solution by protecting with the help of a NSG, you may need a additional network card here. Or you may be notice here, in case if you are enabling any kind of a traffic management, for example, like you want to route all the traffic of your NAC into a dedicated NAC and to a monitoring tool, then that kind of a situation, customer may prefer to have multiple network interface card on in your solutions here. Or sometimes customer may be using in case they want to do any kind of a custom routing, or in case they want to do some kind of load balancing, that kind of a situation, they'll be using a dedicated NIC along with your VM here, addition to whatever existing one VNIC has been available here. How practically you can able to add your additional network interface card? If you select the server here, you may be notice here on the properties of the VM, you may be able to see like middle of the screen, you can see there is an option called networking here. And if you select the network settings, right side, you will be able to see like all the network card or whatever IP address currently it's been assigned here. Now, if you see here, on top of the screen, there will be two options you can able to see here. One, you can able to see like attached networks solutions here, right? You may be able to see like you have option is been available. That details you can able to get it from here. See, in case if you are going here, you may be able to see like you have option is been available where you can able to select it here. See, so you have option is been available. You have a option has been available where you can able to configure on in the cloud here. See, so this is the way you can able to see multiple network card can be attached here. And you may be able to see like while creating a VM, by default, it's not supported for attaching here. The moment when you are trying to create it here, you are getting a error message here. It's saying that in case if you are trying to do any kind of network change, what is the message is saying here? I'm just clicking on the attached network interface card. You may be ending with the help of a message. You see, the operation cannot be performed on a virtual machine here or a running virtual machine here. So the point here, at any point of time, if you are trying to do any kind of network interface card change here, technically this is need a downtime here. So without a downtime, you will not be in a position to configure any kind of a network changes here. So you need a valid downtime here. I'm just saying like at any point of time when you are trying to do any kind of a configurations here, you need a downtime. That means there is a business has to approve for that. Then only you can able to go for creation of additional network interface here. So you need, so at any point of time, if anyone it's been trying to make any kind of a additional network interface card, you need to understand there is a downtime it's been needed here. So we need a valid CR. You may be able to see like you can able to do here. So I'm just saying like we need a valid CR. This has to be approved by the CAB here. So the ideal process, like at any time, anyone has been trying to do any kind of a VNIC configuration, it's better to have a downtime is being needed. Without that, you cannot configure that one here. Now let's go back here. Let's go and see how practically you can able to add a network interface card here. As I said, like we need have a downtime is being needed here. Since I'm doing a testing here, I'm trying to shut down without ACR approval. I'm just doing a forceful stop here. This is not the right practice. The right practice, which I said, we need to have a CAB approval is being needed. And from the OS layer, you need to download, you need to ensure you have been initiated or triggered the shutdown here. That may be the best practices. It's been needed here. Neil, CRA stands for the change request here. This abbreviations here. It's like it's need any configuration change. You may be heard about ITIL practice here, right? So ITIL practice says any configuration change, if you are doing on in a Microsoft Azure or in the production, there is a valid change request is being needed here. So the point here, whenever you are trying to make any kind of VM VNIC here, you may have need a change request is being needed here. So that may be the one point you can remember. Let's wait for this is to finish. You can see this has been progressing here. You can see this has been progressing here. Let's wait. So I'm just saying like it's been shut down here. You can see here like you have a option has been available here. Okay, so you have a server has been down here now. Now I'm just trying to create a server here. Server has been in an off situation. If someone has been looking for a additional network card here, you can see like attach a network interface card. Right now we are getting an option for attaching a network interface card here. I'm trying to connect it here. If you see here I can able to add my secondary device here. I'm saying like this is for my backup purpose here. I can go and create that one here. Right now this has been created here. You can see this has been progressing. You can see this has been completed here. Now let me power on the server here. I'm just you can see this is still it's in progressing on the notification area. You can see the network interface card. It's been progressing here. Let's wait for this to finish. You can see this deployment. It's been completed. I'm just powering on my server here. Right now you can see there is a new network card from Azure platform. It's been added here. Amor adding multiple network interface card. It's completely free of cost here. There is no additional charges been available here. I was just saying Amor here. Only the cost is been coming. You can use a number of network interface card. It depends upon what series you are using here. Cost of your network card, it's going to be calculated in case if you are using any additional service here. For example, like if your network card it's been assigned with a public IP address, there is a charge, and all inbound connection is been free here. Any data which you are been transferring outside, we have to pay the money here, and any security complaints or a security solutions you are using, then you can able to use it here. You can see here. Configuration. It's been configured here. You can see this has been adding here. Now I'm just powered on the server here. Let's wait for this speed to be back. You can see here this is my live. You can see this has been started the VM here. Now you can see here. This has been progressing here. I'm just trying to connect to this server here. Now I can see there is one more question here creating a network here. By default, if you see here, this is your VM here, right? Only one network card will be assigned with a public IP address Anita here. So if you see here, if you click on the network settings here, you have a two network you can see here. This is your primary. Primary has been configured with the help of, this is a backup here, okay? Your backup is secondary. Secondary is only assigned with a private IP address here. There is no default public IP address here. But if you take here, the first network card, which has been created along with your VM creation, that will have a public IP address here. So that's a good observation. At your time, you have an option to create multiple here. You may be able to see like you have a option has been available here. You can see this created. You can see here. I'm just connecting to the server here. I'm just trying to connect the server here. It's been connecting now here. Server is been loading here. You can see the server is been loading. Currently, we are trying to see like how do we add additional network interface card here. We understood like at any point of time when you are trying to configure any of the services here, then you need a additional solution is being needed here. So you can see here, this is the option. You can see this has been connected. Now, if you see here onto the portal, it's been loading, inventory has been loading here. We need to wait for a second here. Now, let me type ncpa.cpl here. You can see this server, so ncpa.cpl. You may be able to see a additional network card. It's been configured here, see. Now, so this is the way normally we have been adding additional network interface card on in your system here. There is no additional cost is been involved. So it's been completely free here. So definitely you may be having a question, how many network interface card it's been supported here? So maximum network interface card it's been supported. It depends upon your VM series here. You may be noticed here the moment when you are trying to create a VM has been got different model or series has been available here. Right now, if you see this is a E2 series here. E2 series can support up to 8 network interface card here. So maximum network interface card, as on today, it's been supported up to 15 per VM here. And all it depends upon what is the type of the series you are using here. If you are using a B series, it can support up to 4 VNIC here. If you are using a E series, this also it's been getting up to 8 network interface card. If you are using a L series, this will support up to 6 network card. If you are using a M series, this will support up to 12 here, and N series is been supporting 8 here. So you can refer a Microsoft documentation page. Very beautifully, they have been explained what is the maximum number of network interface card. It's been supported on in the each VM here. And you need to remember one important point here. In case if you assign 50 network interface card, as an architect, you need to see whether it's been supported on in a OS layer also. Most of the Microsoft or a Linux operating system nowadays it will support up to 15 network interface card. There is no issue with that here. But at any point of time when you're trying to do any kind of a configuration here, on the OS side also, you need to see is there any kind of limit or is there any kind of roadblocks here. So that may be the consideration you want to see from the OS layer here. Most of Windows Server 2019 or a 2025 or RTL 7 or 8 or a 9 or Ubuntu 18.04 or a CentOS or a SUSE Linux. If you take all this operating system, it's been supporting more than 50 network interface card. So there is no roadblock here. So that's about VNIC portion here. So right now we understood like how practically you can deploy a host here. And we have seen the moment when you configure a solutions here, by default, you can see like there is a network interface card. It's been created and assigned on in your solutions here. See here, you have a NIC has been created here. Now the question is coming, where exactly you're going to connect this network interface card? You may be remembering if you connected multiple virtual machines, or if you configured a network interface card, you may be using a internet networking device, which normally it's been like enabling you to connect it here, right? You may be able to see like you have an option has been available where you can able to configure on in the solutions here, right? You may be able to see like you have a solution has been available that's been configured on in the cloud side here. Now, let me give you some lecture note for you. So we discuss about network interface card here. Let me give you some lecture note. What exactly this virtual network interface card here? Just pasted a few lecture note for you. Purpose of your network interface card. So these are the point so far we have been discussed here. So these are the number you can able to see on in the cloud side. Maximum network interface card it's been supported, and you can refer this link for the details here. In case if someone has been want to see what is the size is been supported here, you can bookmark this link also. This is a Microsoft Learning link. You can able to bookmark here, and these are the few points you can able to see here. And we discuss about the pricing summary here. So this may be the one point for you. At any point of time when you're going, the pricing it's been coming based on the data transfer and what is the kind of the security component it's been created here. Now, next topic we are trying to see like how IP address is been configured, and we are trying to discuss about a new concept called VNet here. Right, we discuss about VNIC, so don't be confused with the VNIC and VNet here. We'll take a quick refreshment break now here. After that, the topic we are going to discuss about how practically you can able to create IP address, what is the need of a subnet, how practically you can able to configure networking here. Before going on the break, any questions from anyone? If you're good, you can comment it on the chat. Any questions from anyone? Okay, I am just taking the silence. It's been good here. So possible, let me post one question for you. Let me do a assessment. Let me just allow me. Let me type a question for you. Can you just try to answer this question? Request you to go through this question here and post your answer on the chat. Request everyone to comment yourself. This will give you a confidence here. So right answer, it's been answer B here. Let me give you one more questions here. This may be another question here. So right answer for the previous question, answer B here. This is another question for you. So answer for this question, it's going to be the answer B. Right answer, it's been like answer B here. It's been decided by the VM size here. So that may be the correct answer. It's a VM size and the series here. Now, this is another question for you. This is another question. Can you try to answer this question? So answer for this question, it's going to be the answer B here. VNIC are free here. We need to pay the additional charge. It depends upon what is the additional service you are taking here. So I think we're good with the VNIC here. And all these answers is giving a confidence to me. That means you are with me. And I'm not seeing any other questions. So next topic, it's about IP address. And it's about VNet and the communication here. We'll take a 10 minutes, a quick break here. It's almost an hour now. I think we'll go for a break and be back. Thank you. Hey team, I hope you're back. It was a refreshment break after an hour of discussion. Right now we have been discussing about how practically you can able to add multiple virtual network interface card, which will give you a option to enable a communication on in the cloud here. Let me give you one case study also. Let me give you one case study and real-time based scenario here. Let me allow me to type it on the chat. So there's one question for you. Right now we discuss about how do we add multiple network interface card, right? So this one case study for you. So you can practice in your lab. Go through these questions here. This will give you a real-time experience, like where exactly this network interface card option is been added here. I'm just making a question and just typing on the chat. Give me a moment. I'm just typing on the chat here. This is the case study for you. I hope you can see in the chat. So this is scenarios for you. So we are working for one of the client here, and this is the one case study for you. They are trying to add multiple network card, and this is a task or the requirement we have been received from the client here. So this is the requirement the client has been looking from us here, and so these are the activity we are going to do it on in the customer place here. These are the tasks for you. I hope you can able to copy this one here. And these are the few questions for you. And answer also I just given on the chat here. Just give me a second. Facing some challenge for copying on into the chat window. So I just made a few questions here and a few tasks and some questions also here. So this you can practice when we are getting a free here. I just added the answers also here. So when we are getting a free time, you can just go through these questions here. So that's about the VNIC part here. Next one, we are going to discuss about how practically you can able to connect this servers here. If you see this current scenario, imagine like you have a two servers are created here, and the servers which you have created, it's a server 1 and a server 2 here. How practically you can able to communicate here. So right now, if you see here, you have a two server has been ready here. You maybe notice here, both are configured with a virtual network interface card here. Now, both are enabled with the network interface card, but the connection you're not made here, right? If you take your on-premises scenario, you maybe had a option of connecting a RJ45 cable or connecting on into the a network components here. Right now, I don't have any such component available here. So how do we make a communication here? Now, for making a communication, first of all, you need a IP address here. So that means each and every network interface card which you are creating here, that will be configured with a IP address here. So if you take any device here, similarly like your on-premises one, your network interface card, that means your VNIC, that will be assigned with a IP address here. So the IP address is to be needed here. I request everyone to mute your mic in case if you're not speaking here. Christian, I just request you to mute your mic. Look like by accident you have mic is got enabled. Suraga, I need your help to just mute our Christian mic here on the back end. Thank you. Suraga, if you can just mute the Christian mic. I'm not seeing that option to mute him. Let me tag him. Okay. So I was just saying, like, whenever start working on in a cloud here, in case if you want to enable any of the communication here, IP is being mandatory here. You may be heard about IP version 4 and you may be heard about IP version 6 also, right? So what is the difference between these two protocols here? If you just select your solutions here, you may be able to see like you have a resources are available here. You can able to see like you have a IP version 4 and IP version 6 is been available here. You can see here. What is the difference between these two here? What is the difference between IP version 6 and IP version 6 here? You may be able to see like there are two protocol. It's normally it's been like so you may be able to see like there's a two type of the protocol generally we are using on in a on premises here, right? Similar way you can able to see like you will have a two type of the protocol it's been supported here. You can see on into the cloud also, that's called IP version 4 and IP version 6 here. It's been supported both the options here, right? You can see here, you may be able to see like IP version 4 and IP version 6 is been available here. Now, when it is coming on into a technical specifications here, you have a 32 bits and you have a 128 bit here, right? You have address length. If you take it here, you have a address length. It's been coming like a 32 bit and a 128 bit is been coming here. So you may be able to see like you have a two format. It's been supported here. So you have a solution has been available here. Whenever we start working on it a cloud here, you may be notice here IP version 4 and IP version 6 both are supported here in a cloud solutions here. IP version 4 and IP version 6 here. You may be able to see like you can see here. You have an option has been available. You have a IP version 4 and IP version 6 has been supported here. Practically, if you see here, the IP address length, you may be seeing like a 32 bit or a 128 bit, and address format, you may be seeing like a decimal format, and you may be seeing like number of the address which IP version 6 has been supporting up to 40 bytes, or it's been supporting 340 undecillion addresses has been supporting here. But in a real-time scenario, we are not migrated completely on into the IP version 6. The point you can see, you have an option for using IP version 4 and IP version 6. Both are supported here. But in a real-time scenario, it's been not supported IP version 6 here because people are not being migrated here. So in a project, mostly we'll be using IP version 4 only here. And if you see this classification of IP address here, if you take IP address here, again, if you see this classifications here, it's again classified into 5 categories here. You may be studied on in your college days here. Your IP address is been classified like, what is the name you have been given? It's been like a class A, class B, and class C, and it's been divided to class D and class E also. Class A IP address, it's been normally it's been starting from 0.0.0.0 into 127.255.255.255 here. And if you take a class B IP address, class B IP address normally it's been coming 128.0.0.2, while the range has been coming 191.255.255.255, and class C IP address normally it's been coming 192.0.0.2, 223.255.255.255, and class D it's been coming like 224.0.0.0.2, 239.255.255.255. Class E it's been coming here. It's been like a 240.0. You can see like a 0.0.2, 0.2, 255.255.255.255. So the point here, at any point of time, you may be able to say like any configuration which you are using. IP version 4 is the commonly used IP address, even your cloud also. And the IP address which you are going to use it on in the cloud, it's been like you may be able to say like class A, class B, class C, class D, and class E. Normally we are using here. And class D generally we are not assigning to any of the productions here. The reason you may be already aware, class D is normally it's been using for the multicast purpose here. So I'm just saying here, if you are configuring any of the Azure resource here, when you are a person who design the IP schema for your organization, don't assign a class D, because class D has been globally, it's been recognized, it's kind of a multicast IP address here. And even class E, we are not using here because this has been using for research purpose or experimental purpose here. So even class E, We are not using for any of this assigning a resource here, because that's been reserved for experimental or any kind of research. If you are doing, that's normally it's been mapped with the help of a class E IP address here. So technically, if you see here, any resource which you are managing on in the cloud, that's going to be assigned or going to be configured with class A or a class B or a class C IP address here. So any IP which you're going to get it on in a IP version for your VM or firewall or any of the network services, that's going to be assigned any number between class A to class C here. And you may be heard about there are two type of IP address. Again, it's been coming here. One, it's you can able to see it's called as a public IP address, and another one, it's known as a private IP address here. So if you take a communication side here, any communication which has been happening on the internet, basically we can say like any IP address which you can able to route in the internet, that technically is been known as a public IP address here. Now, if you take a Microsoft Azure scenario, if you configure any solutions here, wherever you need internet connections, for example, like you have a VM has been coming, if that VM has been need a internet connection, definitely that need a public IP address here. Or if you configure a Azure Bastion service, or if you configure any firewall service, or if you configure any devices where you need a external connections here. For example, like if you take if you configured any internet facing load balancers, or if you configured VPN gateway, or if you configure application gateway, all that cases the public IP address has been needed here. So technically I'm saying your class A, class B, class C, it's been again divided to two category here. And one it's been known as a private IP address, and the second one it's known as a public IP address here. So any communication which you are configuring internally here, that basically it's been considered as a private IP address here. And private IP address, it's been configured by you, and there is no cost is been associated here. There's no charge. We don't need to pay any amount, or there is no cost is been associated here. It's been completely free of cost is been coming here. How normally the private IP address has been configured with the help of a service called VNet here. It's called virtual networking here. You may be remembering on in a on-premises scenario, the private IP address we have been defined with the help of a service called DHCP, right? How many of them have been remembering? There is a concept available on in a on-premises called DHCP. With the help of that, you have a solution has been available on in the cloud here. So that's maybe the so you have an option has been available here. Is that point has been clear? Okay, so that's the way you can able to available, or it's been like it's been configured on in the cloud here. Now moving on to the other aspects here. So being it I said like it's been configured by us here. So the range which you can able to use it here, if it is a private IP address, the range it's been coming like a 10.0.0. You can see like the solution it's been coming. You may be able to see here, right? You have a option has been available 10.0.0.0 to 10.255.255.255. I request everyone to mute your mic, please. And the other IP address you can see on the private range here, it's been 172.16.0.0 to 172.168.1.1. 31.255.255. Just give me a second. I think we are getting a lot of network on the back end here. One second. Just give me a second, like let me take a help. Sorry for the background noise here. So Sudak will disable his mic. Look like some accidentally is maybe enabled that one. Anyway, let's come back to the discussion here. So my point here, whenever you start creating a private VNet or a private IP address, this has been done with the help of a VNet here. And the IP address you are going to get it here. It's been starting from the range 10.0.0.0 into 10.255.255 or 172.16.0.0 to 172.31.255.255, or you can see the range it's been coming 192.168.0.0 to 190.168.255.255. So my point here, if anyone want to configure any of the internal IP address that's been created by us here, and the range it's going to be selected any number between 10 dot series or 172.16 dot series here or 192.168 series here. And if anything it's been coming onto the public side here, IP range it's going to be 0.0.0 to 126.255.255.255 here. You can see here, this has been range 128.0.0 to, if you see here, 191.255.255.255 or 192.0.0 to 223.255.255.255 or 224.0.0 to 239.255.255.255 240.0.0.0 to 254.255.255.255. So these are the public IP address. Normally it's been assigned for all the resources here, and this is to be assigned by the Microsoft Azure. So you don't have any role saying that I need a IP address of 7.7.7, or you don't have any option to select it here. You have only the option to reserve a IP address if once Microsoft is been assigned here. Other than that, you don't have any option to select it here. I want a range here. That has been not possible here. So that is maybe the solution you can able to available on in the cloud here. By the way, normally the configuration has been available on in the cloud here. With the help of that, you can able to configure it here. And another important point, if you see this as CSP here, whatever IP address you are using here, hourly it's been charged here. So whatever solutions you are using here, so hourly it's been charged here. And with the help of that, you can able to configure it here. So whatever configuration has been available, you may be able to see like hourly it's been charged on in the cloud here. Now this has been completely CSP has been configured here. So at least you need to understand that the moment when you create a server on in the Microsoft portal, right? If you see you have a two virtual machine has been available here, and virtual machine right now we are seeing on the portal it's been server A and server B, that means server 1 and server 2 here. You can see by default, the moment when you create a VM, there is a public IP address has been assigned, and the same time there is a internal IP address also has been assigned here. See, if you go back onto the properties here, how I got this option, if I select this VM on the properties, like if you select it here, there is a middle of the screen, this screen will come where you can able to click on the overview tab. On the overview tab, you may be able to see all these details very beautifully. Microsoft has been documented here. See, it's saying that server 1, it's been configured with a public IP address here. See, there's a public IP address has been configured. And if you scroll down, you may be able to see there is a private IP address also configured here. So you need to understand at any point of time, if you create a VM on in the cloud, by default, it's been assigned with a 2 address. One is your public IP address. Second one, it's your private IP address here. And the private IP address, it will be used for the internal communication, and any external communication has been coming, that will be done with the help of the public IP address here. And the cost, it's you take it here, all the cost, it's been associated only with the public IP address here. So all the internal IP address, it's been available, or it's been like it's been configured with the help of internal communication only here. So this may be the one point all of us need to remember in a cloud here. It's both the options are available. With the help of that, you can see like configurations are coming. With the help of that, communications are enabled here. I believe these points are clear to everyone here. Any questions so far from anyone? Any questions?
None.
Great, thank you. So I think we are good with that here, right? Let me give you some lecture note for you. Just give me a second. Let me type it. Few lecture note on the chat here. So public IP address, normally it's been used for the external communication. So public IP address used for identifying the external communications here. Let me give you the range also. So this is the IP range for you. This is the public IP address range. This is the public IP address range here. Okay, so that's about the IP address here. Now let's go and see how practically this private IP address has been assigned here. You maybe notice here the moment when it's been created here, automatically this IP address has been created here. Now you may be thinking like how and where this has been option is been given, because I'm not remembering this networking options here, right? Let me show you here. At the moment when you start creating a VM, there are two methods you can able to take it here. One method, you can create your virtual network well in advance here. What exactly the virtual network is doing? If you take this scenario here, in case possible, like you can just recall with or reconnect with your on-premises scenario. In a on-premises scenario, how the communication is being done. If you have a server A has been coming, or you want to make a communication to server B and D here. I'm just talking about in an on-premises scenario. You may be remembering, you will be placing a hub or switch here, right? So this connection, you'll be connecting using a cable here, right? From your server, you'll be connecting a cable to this RJ45 port here, and the communication you are it's been establishing in an on-premises scenario here. Now in a cloud scenario, this switch will be replaced by a component, and that component name, it's known as a VNet here. What is the solution we are using? The solution which you are going to use it on the cloud, it's called a VNet here. So your switch, so all rest of the activity is going to be the same only. You'll be creating a VM here. I'm just saying, like, if you want to communicate here, your server A will be coming here, and you will be connecting your second server also here. But the only difference, you are not going to use any of the physical component here. That means there is no cable here. The communication which you are going to use, using a virtual mode, there is a VNet, it's been created here. So you need to understand the moment when you create a VM here, it's mandatory that if you need or if there is a servers are available on the system, by default, communication is possible only through the VNet here. So it's mandatory that VNet has been needed here. Now, if you see, when you're trying to create a VM here, for example, like when you're trying to create a VM here, you're trying to create a virtual machine. I'm trying to create like a non-prod. I just created here. Just give a name here. It's called server 3 here. You may be noticed here on the top of the screen, there is a couple of options are available here, like a basics, disk, networking, management, monitoring, right? If you click on the networking tab, you may be able to see it's mandatory saying, hey, Robin, if you want to try to create a VM, it's mandatory that you need to create a networking here. See, let me maximize here. You may be able to see there's a star mark. So what Microsoft is saying, since you have not configured anything on behalf of you, I have created one VNet here. Possibly we can say this is going to be the replacement here. You may be able to see like the solution has been available here, right? So that is the problem here, right? See, you may be able to see like you have a option has been available here. See, the moment when you start creating here, it's saying that since the admin has been not created here, I'm creating one on behalf of you here. See, one I'm creating on behalf of you. So it's been created here. See, it's been created on behalf of you here. So let me show you how practically it's been done. Let me do one thing. Let me delete whatever component currently it's been available here. Otherwise, you may get confused here. Let me delete this existing resource group. Let me try to do that. Then we'll start from a scratch. Give me a moment here. Right now, you can see this has been progressing. It's been progressing here now. Currently, I'm just decommissioning the existing resources here. You can see here this has been progressing here. Right now, you can able to see here like you may be able to see like you have a solution has been available. We're trying to see how do we create that network here. Let's go and see how practically you can able to create this one here. you may be able to say like you have a server has been going to create it here. We are trying to see like how VNet is been created here. Let's wait for a moment. I'm just decommissioning here. Otherwise, you make it confuse you. So let me create it here. So I was just saying like there are two ways you can able to create a VNet here. What is the purpose of a VNet here? We are just trying to make a communication internally here. How practically we can do? We can just go to the virtual machine here. Here you can able to do. So a part of your VM creation also you have a option to create a VNet. Or the second option, well in advance, you can able to create a virtual network. Then you can able to map it also. I'll show you both the methods here. First method I'm just showing you. I'm trying to create a new network here for my production. I'm just trying to create a name here. It's called server 1. It's trying to create on in a east-west location here. I'm just trying to create it here, giving details here, entering the username and the password. Now on the networking tab, now Microsoft is saying, hey Robin, you're trying to create a VM, but you're not created any network here. So on behalf of you, I'm creating one. So this will default, it's been taken. And this is not the recommended practice here. The reason it's been like, if Microsoft has been selecting, they don't have any kind of visibility of what is the range internally I'm using, or what is the IP schema my business is needed, or application is being needed here, right? So this can be done by selecting ourselves here. So you may be able to see there's an option called create new here. Here I'm informing Microsoft, hey Microsoft, I'll create my private range here. And you may be able to see there's an option where you can able to enter your VNet name here. See, so the moment when you are giving a name on in the cloud side here, better to give or follow some kind of a best practices here. So rather than giving like it's like a prod network, or it's like a Suresh network or Ramesh network here, better to use a kind of a combination here. So normally if I see here, I just pasted one information on the chat here. Whenever I used to create any kind of a network here, I'll try to give some kind of a name, something like this. I just pasted one checklist here. This will give you some kind of idea where exactly my VNet has been using here, rather than giving Robin network or any other name. Better to follow some standard here. Now, let me give you some names here. So if you see this name here, I'm just giving some pattern here. Are you able to identify where is this network are being used here? If you see this some example here, first scenario, if you see here, this may be giving you a information that network it's been used on in a Condoso. It's been used for the production network that's been implemented in the east-west location, and this is used for my core services here. And same way for the rest two, one for the CRM application, that's for the development environment and used by the West Europe, and other one is for the HR test application here. So my point here, whenever you start giving any kind of a name here, rather than giving like a Robin VNet or Christian network or Krishna network or Surat network here, better to use some standard consistent name which will be aligned with your business and projects here, because you cannot rename once you created here. That's maybe the one point you can able to remember here. And some of the tips or some of the information which I have been learned from my experience here, it's like whenever you are trying to use any kind of a VNet here, you need to use lower cases here, avoid the special characters here, and ensure that you are doing a proper documentation here. Since we are doing a testing here, I'm not just going to align or going to use whatever pattern we are using. Simply, I'm just creating a prod VNet here. But when you go back on a real-time project, don't use a prod VNet. Better to use a meaningful, consistent name here. Since we are doing for a testing, I don't want to give a lengthy name here. I'm just giving a symbol here, right? You can see here, there is a option you can able to hit it here. So that may be the point you need to remember here. Now, the address space which you are aligning here, whatever range you're going to use it here, it's going to be the private IP range here. Whatever IP address we are seeing, like a 10 dot or a 172 or it's a 192, that's the number we need to use it here. In a real time or a project scenario, always we try to use a class A IP address here because that will give you more number of host ranges here. Now, if you see here, right now I'm using /16 here. So it's saying 2 raised to 16 IP address I can able to use. That means 65,000 IP range I can able to use it here. Now, if you give 15 here, this pool it's going to be created with 1,31,000 address here. And if you go back into 14 here, again you can see the number can be increased here. So never ever don't try to create a VNet with a 2 lakh or 1 lakh IP address here. Better to create multiple VNet because that will give you the flexibility to do isolation here. I'm just keying /16 here now. I'm just trying to give /16. So right now we can see here, I'm trying to create a virtual machine that's going to be assigned in a prod VNet, which has been starting with a range called 10.0.0. here. Let me review and create it here. Right now the creation, it's been progressing here. Right now this validation got some error. Let's create this one. Just enter the password here. Got some error message here. Review and create here. So right now we are trying to create a VM and we have been created a prod VNet also here. Let's wait for this to complete. You can see this has been creating here. You can see this has been progressing here. Validation has been completed here. You can see here this has been progressing here. Creation has been progressing now here. Let's wait. It's been progressing now, the deployment. It's in progress here. So technically what we have done here, we have created a server here and server has been created in a east-west location here. We are given the name of the server. It's a server 1. It's been created in a east-west location and we have been created a network. It's called prod VNet. Address range we are given 10.0.0./16 here. So this is the exercise so far we have done, and we are trying to map this network with the same VM here. So this is the exercise. we have been done here. Now we can just wait for a few minutes here. Deployment currently it's been progressing here. So let's go and see how the deployment currently it's been happened here. If you see here, server has been ready here. You may be able to see here, right? You can see here, you have a solution has been available here. If you just go to the resources here, you may be able to see the VM currently it's been mapped to the same network here. See, it's called the prod VNet here. You can see like there's a prod VNet. It's been created here. So you can see here. You can see here. You can see here like you have an option has been available. You may be able to see like a solution has been created here. This has been created a network here. Now, if you go back to this network here, see, you can see this network has been available here, and prod VNet it's been created here. See, there is a VNet it's been available here, and prod VNet it's been created onto the same location where is my VM has been residing here. And if you see this VM here, interesting part, it's the server has been assigned a IP address from this virtual network here. See, if you use this public IP address here, see, there is an IP address. It's been created from here. See, if you see here, there is a network. It's been created here. It's called 10.0.0.4 here. See, 10.0.0.4. This is the range. It's been created here. That means your server is going to get a IP from this pool here. See, from here, there is a dynamic IP address. It's been assigned here. It's not a static one. It's been assigned from this address pool here. Now, if I'm trying to create my second VM here, I'm just trying to create my another VM here. Let me go back here. I'm trying to create one more VM. I'm just trying to create. I request everyone to mute your mic, please. I'm just trying to mute her mic, please. I'm not getting. Surya, if you are there, request you to mute the mic, please. Give me a moment.
Ikaw ko yung pinakamarami sa remote. Sa pera ka. Kung mini ceremony.
I think it's been muted. Thank you. Now, I'm just giving you a second scenario here. We have a server has been created here, and server has been configured. You may be able to see like in a East US location. On the same location, you may be seeing like your VNet also has been got configured here. Now let me try to create one more VM here. Let me try to give the name called server 2 here. I'm trying to create a server 2 here. Try to create here. It's getting a message to us here. Hey admin, there is a network has been available. Do you want to map your second VM inside this one here? See, I'm just trying to create my another VM here. It's a server 2 on the same location here. We are getting a message. Do you want to map to this network, or do you want to create a new one here? So both options you are getting here. See here. If you go back here, in case if you want to attach the VM part of the same VNet here, I can attach it here. See, right now I'm going to attach my second VM also on the same network here. You can just review and create it here. Let's create that one. You can see here. You have a solution has been available, creating another VM. It's been progressing. I'm just trying to create these details here. It will take a few seconds here. It's been progressing here. We need to wait this is to complete it here. Right now, the deployment of the second VM, it's in progress here. Let's wait. This is to complete it here. Right now, you may be able to see the creation. It's got completed here. Now, if you go back onto the VM and review this VM here, you can see your second VM also assigned to the same VNet where my first server has been mapped here. And you may be seeing it start getting an IP address from the same VNet AC 10.0.0.5 here. So you can see it's been start assigning here the IP address from the same VNet here. And you're not seeing any separate network here. See, if you go back to the network options here, you are not seeing any separate network here. See, so that means this network it's already created. It's having a capacity up to 65,000 here, and whatever VMs you have been attaching, it's been assigning from the address range here. See, you may be able to see like I'm trying to say here, like you have an address space has been available. From there, the IP address has been assigned here. If you see this, if you click on the address space here, you can see 65,536 IP address. It's capable to assign to this devices here. And if you click on the connected devices, which has been showing on the middle of the screen here, you can see what are the devices currently it's been connected here. You can able to see the unique details about the server who currently it's been connected here. So technically you need to understand a private IP address has been configured with the help of a VNet, and internally this has been configured here. So that may be the point all of us can able to remember here. So that's maybe the point you can able to see here. So that's maybe the one point all of us can able to use it here. Any questions from anyone here? Any questions here? Great. So we'll take a 10 minutes break now here because almost an hour of discussion now. So let's go for it. 10 minutes break and be back. I hope you're back. Rikesh, to confirm through the chat option. So we discuss about how practically we can able to create a VNet here. And we have seen like how IP address has been assigned here. I can see there is a message on the chat how long this webinar will be continuing. We'll be continuing another 45 minutes and we'll give a lunch break. Then after that, we'll have another 1.5 hours of discussion, 1 hours to 2 hour discussion it's been planned. So totally next 3 hours, this webinar will be continuing. At least we'll be shaping this cloud networking, VNet peering, how data center can be connected here. How do we enable security also on in the cloud here? That is a plan we have for today's webinar. And regarding the certificate, already Surag has been confirmed. At the end of the session, you'll be getting an attendance form. Based on the attendance form, certificate will be given here. So technically, you need to attend the all session. There you can see there is an attendance link. Then you can able to go and download your certificate also. That is the way session is been planned here. Now let's come back to this discussion here. We discuss about how do we configure the IP address here. We have seen how a VNet can be configured on in the cloud here, and technically the how IP address has been assigned here. Now in the first two scenario, you may be seeing like how IP address has been assigned on in the east to west location, and both the VM are assigned to the same VNet here. Now let me show you how do we create one more network on in the same regions here. Let me go to the virtual machine. Let me try to create one more virtual machines here. I'm just trying to create here. Possible like I'll try to give this as a non-prod here. And I'll try to give the name. It's called server 3. The same data center, but I'm trying to create a separate network here. I'm trying to create it's like a TRG admin. I'm trying to create it here. So I'm getting a message here. It's previously maybe saying like a prod VNet already it's been available here. Now I'm saying to Microsoft, no, Microsoft, I don't need to use this one. I'm trying to use it for a different network here. So I can able to see another network can be created. So the range it's going to be, it's like a 10.1.0.cdc. See, I'm not going to use a 10.0.c because I'm using this network on the east west location for my non-prod activities here. So I'm trying to create a separate network here. See, I'm trying to create a separate network here. I'm just given it's a non-prod, create review and create it here. I just created. Just try to create it here. You can see this has been created. It's been progressing. It's been progressing here. Right now the deployment, it's been progress here. It's been progressing here. Let's wait for this to finish it here. it's been deployed here. Now, if you see here, you have another resource. Name of the resource we have been given. It's been server 3 here. Server 3, it's been created on in a east-west location here. And if you select it here, server 3, it's been configured. If you see here, it's been configured on in a different network here. See, this maybe you can see like this has been configured on in a different network, right? If you see here, this has been configured on in a different network here. See, it's like a non-prod. And if you see, if you go back to this virtual network here, you can see here, you can see this has been created here. It's been created onto the portal here. See, if you see here, connected here, there is a two network is been created, and both are connected onto the same location here. And you may be able to see like you have an option has been available on the virtual machine. If you see here, if you can see here, server 3 has been available here. If you click on this option, you may be able to see here new public IP address has been assigned, and whatever range it's been created, it's not from the previous VNet here. This has been assigned from a private IP address here. That means if you go back here, you have a resource has been available here. If you see here, the server 3 has been created. Server 3 has been created. This has been assigned or this has been created onto the a location called non-prod here. It's called non-prod, and it's been assigned to the here. See, you may be able to see this has been assigned here. So both this network, it's been part of the east-west location, and the IP address it's going to be created. It's like 1.10.1.0.0.4. Why this is getting 1.0.4? Because this IP address, it's been assigned from here. See, it's been assigned from the non-prod VNet here. And if you see this, both the cases here, you may be notice here, even though IP address has been starting from 0 onwards here, but the first IP address it's been getting, it's a 4 here. So definitely you may be thinking, what happened into 10.0.0.0 or 10.0.0.1 or 10.0.0.2 or 10.0.0.3. This basically it's been known as a reserved IP address here. So that means few set of IP address, it's by default Microsoft has been holding, that's not assigning into any of the resources here. So if you take here, generally we can mention, or you can remember this point in your mind. If you create any resources on in the cloud here, by default, I'm just making like x dot x dot x. X can be any number, okay? It can be 10.0 series or 170 series here. X dot 0. Now in our case, this is like what is the range we are seeing? In our case, you may be seeing like a 10.0.0.0, right? So this has been missing. Now, if you see this another case scenario here, x dot 1, this is missing. That means in our scenario, it's a 10.0.0.1 here, or x dot 2. That means 10.0.0.2 is missing, or x dot 3. This is missing. So we can say like this is a 10.0.0.3 is missing. Similar way, x dot 255 in the current scenario, in both the cases like a 10.0.0.255 is missing. So this all known as a reserved IP address here. This is a 255. Normally it's been using for broadcast purpose. This has been using for the network address, and 1 it's normally it's been using for the gateway. 2 and 3 normally it's been used by the Azure DNS here. It's been used by the Azure DNS here. So the point what I'm trying to say here, any IP address which you are going to get it here, it start getting from 4 onwards here. That means 0, 1, 2, 3, it's been missing because this has been already it's been reserved here. So that may be the one important point you may be able to see, right? You have option has been available, and with the help of that, you can able to create it here. So there is you may be able to see like you have a option has been available, and you can able to create it here. Is that point has been clear? Okay, so these are the reserved IP address here. And for your information, generally we are not using the loopback IP address also. That means 127.0.0. series. This IP address also not using for your clients here, because this has been like it's been used for the loopback purpose here. Amar BC I just mentioned like a broadcast IP address here. So rather than it's a broadcast IP address here. It's like broadcasting, right? You may be heard about in a networking we have a unicast, multicast, and broadcast here. This has been using for broadcast purpose here. I just written just a abbreviation for that. It's a BC, it's a broadcast here. So when you are working as a network architect or network engineer, please understand 127 series also not using manually here. This has been using for a low back purpose here. And there is a, you can see one more IP address called 169 series here. This basically it's been used by a service called Apipa here. So Apipa is normally it's been used in case if your VNet has been full, or in case if there is any kind of a DHCP server is been available, that kind of a situation you can use you can able to use it here. So that's a way you can able to use it here. So that's a way you can able to use it here. Is that point has been clear? You can see here. That's the way it's been like. That's the way you can able to use it here. Apipa is a automatic IP address here. So let me give you some lecture note for that. It's a reserved IP address in Azure here. Give me a second. I'm just giving the details on the chat. You can just hear. You can see this is the range. Normally it's been reserved here. I just pasted on the chat here. You can see this is the range. Normally it's been used. I'm just pasting that details here. So this note will be helpful for you. I just made some lecture note related to that. I'm just giving one example also for you, for your understanding. So this may be giving some confidence on how IP address has been created here. Any questions from anyone? Someone has been asked about APIPA also. Let me give a note for APIPA and loopback also. What exactly this APIPA and APIPA has been using. Let me give some lecture note for that as well. Let me paste this details here. Just give me a second. So this is the range for APIPA here. So this is about loopback IP address. I just prepared one comparison table also. This will give you some details about difference here. You can see this has been created here now. So this is about the configuration part here. Let me give you one. Yes, you're right, Anelia. In case your laptop is been not able to reach out the DHCP server, right? Neil, you may be remembering like in an on-premises scenario, how IP address normally you're getting. There is a service been running called DHCP here. Now, all your computers, like if they have been configured here, for example, like if you configure here, it's getting an IP address with the help of a concept called DORA process. What is the process normally we are using? It's called DORA process. It's called discover, offer, reservation, and acknowledgement. That is a method we are using. With the help of that process, normally the IP address will be assigned. Take a scenario like if your DHCP server has been full and your newly added client, if they are not able to get any IP address here, your operating system will create a system generated IP address that's called 169 series. This only used for making communication with other devices. You cannot communicate to the rest of the devices or the resources on the network, it just simply will create one address here that's called automatic private IP address here. Is that point is clear? You may be able to see like you have a new resource has been available here. You can see here, there's a way it's normally been configured here. Let me give you some case study for creating a VNet here. Before that, let me give you some questions for you. Just give me a second. Let me give you some questions here. This is a first question for you. I'm just pasting on the chat. Can you just try to answer this question? This is the first question for you. So answer for this one, it's been like a pretty simple here. This has been answers B. It's like answer B, which is like logically, it's been providing the solutions here. It's happy to that everyone has been answering that one. So answer is been B here. In case if anyone has been looking some explanation, I just added the details also on the chat that will give you some additional information for you. Let me give you one more question for your self-test. There's another question. Don't try to use any Google or any other mechanism here. If you know the answer, just write it here. This is to evaluate yourself. Are you confident? Like, are you getting that whatever discussion we are done? Are you getting that knowledge here? Just for the self-evaluation, use it here. We are not marking how many right answers has been coming, who posted the right answer. This is to do by yourself. Are you on the page here? Are you understanding the concept here? For that, you can just answer it here. You can try here. So answer for this question, it's been answer C here. So the right answer for this one, it's answer C here. I can see a few people have already posted the right answer here. Let me give you one more question for you. So that's about answer this one here. Let me give you one more question. So answer for that question is answer C here. Right answer. Let me give you one more question. So this is another question for you. This has been connecting with a private IP range. So you can see this has been the answer for this one. It's been answer B here. So we'll do one thing. We'll take a lunch break of 45 minutes. Then we'll continue our discussion. Thank you, team. It's time for the lunch break of 45 minutes. Then we'll continue our discussion. Thank you. Thank you all. Hey, good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're back so we can start our discussion. Requesting to confirm through the chat option or a like button. So thank you. I can see a few confirmation. So before break, we had a discussion about how practically you can able to create a VNet here. We had a discussion about how IP address are reserved here and what are the IP address it's been used for reservation. That discussion we had here. Next one, we are trying to see what is the need of a subnet here. You may be noticed here, the moment when you start creating a VNet here. So if you just go to this portal here, we start creating a solution onto the portal here. Sorry, my laptop has been using Bikit. So I was just saying like when you start connecting onto the portal here, you maybe notice here the moment when you start using your network here, IP address are configured with a range here. By giving the switch value, you can able to see the number of the address space it's been assigned here. If you see the current scenario, you have a two virtual network here. This virtual network you may be seeing, you may be given like /16. That means 2 raised to 16. That means almost 65,000 address space you are getting here. If you see here, 10.0.0.0.2, 10.0.255.255. That means 65,536 IP address. It's been created and that will be distributed here. If you see here, if you go back to this scenario here, in the previous scenario, you have created a set of servers here, and the servers are start getting the IP address from the VNet here. The first server is got 4, second server is getting 5, third is been getting like a 6 or a 7. So like this up to 65,000, this will be distributed here. So this is not the right way of implementing, because 65,000 devices you have been connected onto one prod here, and you want to put some kind of a conditions on in the network. You don't want all the 65,000 devices to be communicated each other. You want to make some kind of a restrictions saying that in say that a prod only one set of servers only can be connected to other one, or you want to put some kind of a protocol based or a port based kind of a restriction or a traffic management, that can be done with the help of another isolation inside your VNet here. That's called a subnet. So subnet is nothing. It's again you are logically it's been dividing your network or a VNet for a better administration or better isolation. That generally it's been knowing as a subnet here. For example, like if you have a 65,000, again you are making a small chunk of unit, or based on the life cycle of the requirement, you are making a small subunits here. For example, let me try to create a subnet here. Let me erase this, clear this whiteboard here. Let me delete this existing network also. Let's simulate a different exercise here. Let's go back to this solutions here. I'm just trying to create another subnet here. Let me decommission this existing one to avoid all kind of confusions here. So just trying to create a few more here. Let me delete this non-prod and the prod here. Deleting this existing one here. Right now the decommission currently is in progress here. You can see it's been progressing. You can see this in progress here. You can see it's been progress here. You can see this been progressing here. You may be able to see less in progressing here. It's been a decommission almost. Fine ways here. Let me delete this. It's been deleting the existing one also. So right now we're trying to see like the need of a subnet here, and how practically you can able to create a Azure subnet here. I'm just trying to delete this one here. Delete it. Now I'm trying to create a network here. I'm part of a project. The customer is we need to create multiple subnet and the network here. For example, like I want to create one production network. I'm just trying to create it's a prod network. So inside the prod VNet, I'm assigning a range 10.0.0./16. That means 64,000 IP address. This can be released here. I'm going to create another subnet inside that one. I'm trying to create a subnet. It's called subnet EA because I have a production application for my HR network here. So I'm just trying to give this is the HR port. This is a subnet here. So this is going to get IP address directly from the prod VNet. Create another subnet. I'm trying to create subnet B. This is going to be used by the finance department here. So we are trying to see you have a 65,000 IP addresses here. This you are logically dividing to another set of division here. So finance has been creating inside this one. I'm trying to create that one. Let's go and see how practically we can able to do that one here. Just give me a second here. So we are trying to create a subnet here. We're just cross-checking some subscriptions here. So let's go back onto the virtual machine here. Try to create a VM here. Going on to the top. Create a production. Created, it's a server 1 here. Giving the basic details here. Password is been wrong here. Let me retype it. Now, this is the place you can see here how subnet has been coming to the picture here. Previously, when we had a discussion about a VNet, you may be noticed here, we are giving a unique name and you are setting a IP range here. So you may be noticed or you may be already knowing now, by giving this value, you are getting a range of 65,000 here. That means the first client is been getting, they're getting IP address 4. Second client is been getting 5, 6. Like this, it's been distributing here. So we understood like if you are using that approach, all the 65,000 will be part of a same subnet here. So that's where risk has been involved here. Now, if you see this a prod VNet, in case in a prod networking, I have a hundreds of a prod application my organization has been hosting. I don't want all these devices to be communicated inside my infrastructure. I may have to put some kind of restrictions or I may have to put some kind of traffic management here. So how practically this has been possible here. So again, you can able to do a configuration by enabling a chunk of unit here. That means you have a 65,000 IP address has been available. You are trying to create a small chunk of unit here. You can see here, I'm selecting subnet EA here. And I'm saying this is for my HR application. I'm borrowing or renting a few resources from the main IP range here. I'm saying like a 10.0.0.4, the default it's been using. That means this range, I'm going to use dedicated for my HR applications here. In case if you want to create multiple subnet, I can create it here. I'm saying like for the finance one, this is the range I can able to set it here. I'm giving like a 10.0.1.0./24 here. I'm just created a subnet here. Now, right now you can see the moment when I'm trying to create the current VM, the name of the VM we are given, it's a server 1. It's going to be created in a East to West location. Inside East to West location, this has been placed inside a production network that's called prod VNet. Inside a prod VNet, I have again a chunk of unit has been available called subnet here. So your computer, it's going to get IP address from the subnet rather than getting from the prod VNet here. Now you can just review and create. You can see this has been a creation. It's in progress here. Let's wait for this to complete. I'm just trying to create that one. Right now, this creation, it's in progress here. Let's wait for this to complete. Creation, it's in progress here. You may be able to see the deployment. It's in progress here. You can see here, this is when deployment, it's been started. You may be able to see this server is got created here. Now, if you see this server here, this server currently it's been created on in the East US location here. Now, if you just go back here. Now, if you see this server here, you can able to see the server has been created in a East US location. You can see this has been created in a East US location. And where exactly this has been mapped here, if you go to this properties here, this has been mapped inside a place. If you see here, if you scroll the right side here, you may be able to see this has been mapped into prod VNet. Inside there's a place called subnet here. See, if you see here, this has been placed inside a place called a subnet here. See, you may be able to see subnet EA. This computer has been mapped here. That means the server has been getting IP address directly from. Now, if you see here, the IP address which the client has been getting here. So if you can just see here, this has been getting on the, let's just go to the right side. If you see here, your computer has been assigned to prod VNet. Inside this one, it's a place called subnet here. So technically your computer, it's been start receiving a IP address from subnet A here. See, if you see here, one client or a server you have been created and you have given a name, it's called server 1. It start receiving a IP address from the HR subnet here. So whatever IP range you have been configured here, start getting from inside that here. See, the IP address is been released here, and the IP address it's been received. It's been 10.0.0.4 here. Now, what will happen if you place the second computer here? For example, like you're trying to connect the second server here. For example, like server 2 you're placing here. What will happen here if you create the second server here? What will be the message you're going to get it here, or what is the IP address you're going to get it here if you are trying to map to the same network here? Let's go and see that. I'm trying to connect it here. Server 2. I'm attaching to the same network here. Let me enter the password again. The networking. Look like that's been not showing here, so I might have to just sign out and log in again. This is a subscription issue. Let me sign out and log in again here. You can see here, this has been connected here. You can see connected here. You may be able to see this again loaded here. Let me try to create one more VM here. Trying to create on the same subnet here. Trying to create server 2. Trying to create it here. Operating system doesn't matter here because we are trying to see the communication aspects here. So trying to connect it here. You may be able to see the same subnet you are matching. That means the subnet A here. You have it 2 subnet has been available, but the server 2 also has been part of HR department. So I'm just trying to map it here. So review and create it here. This will take a few seconds here. It's been progressing here. Let's create. It's been progressing here. You can see this been started here. So we need to wait this is to finish it here. You can see the second VM also it's got created here. And we have been created to the same place where is your first VM it's been residing here. So if you see here, when you connect it onto the portal here, the first server which have been available here, it's been on in a subnet A here. At the same location, we have been connected here. See, you can just go back here. It's been connected to the same subnet. And what is the IP address you're getting? It's getting 10.0.0.5 here. Now, definitely you may be having a question. Tomorrow, if you place your resources on in a same subnet, is there any kind of communication available here? Because you take a scenario when it is coming on in a real-time scenario, you may be having your database server and you may be having your application server. Everything you have been kept or it's been configured on in a same subnet. Do we need to enable any kind of routing or do we need to enable any kind of settings on in a Microsoft Azure platform? We need to understand that. Is there any kind of default communication? That is the first case study we are trying to simulate or we're trying to understand today. Second scenario we're trying to see here. I have another subnet available called subnet B here. Tomorrow you have another device It's been configured on in a different subnet here, but on in the same VNet and on in the same data center. Is there any kind of a communication, or do we need to enable anything from our side here? That may be the second case study we are trying to discuss today here. For that, let's create one more server. Let's go back to this server creation. Trying to create server 3. I'm just attaching to the another subnet, not the same one. You can see here, I'm attaching to the finance here, which has got IP range 10.0.1 series here. Let's go and see what will happen if you place a VM inside that one. Let's wait this to finish it. Validation got a error message here. Same password issue. So review and create. Review and created here. You can see this main progressing here. You can see this main progressing here. You can see this creation of the second VM on in a different subnet. It's in progress here. Now the deployment, it's been completed here. You may be able to see here a third VM. It's got created on in the same data center. Where is your rest of the VMs are created here. Plus you may be notice here, this has been created to the same network. Where is your subnet has been configured here, see? You may be able to see like you have a subnet has been available. It's been on the different subnet. Now one interesting point you can see, whatever IP address it's been receiving, it's been from the separate subnet here. See here, this has been getting separate subnet here. That means 10.0.1.4 here. Why this has been getting 1.4? Because this has been connected to the finance subnet, but on in the same locations here. See, if you see here, this has been located to the same prod VNet here. So you may be able to see it's on the same prod VNet. This has been configured here. I believe this concept has been clear to everyone here. Is that point is clear? So you may be seeing how it's been created between a different subnet here, right? Now another exercise we are trying to see here. What will happen if you place the resources on in a different subnet? Is there any kind of a communication here? I request everyone to mute your mic, please. Fauzan, I request you to mute your mic, please. Fauzan, request you to mute your mic, please. Just give me a second here. It's like, give me a second, like, let me take a help from Sudak to disable his mic. Okay, so we're just trying to see the different possibilities or a different case studies here. First case study, we are trying to see like what will happen if you have a multiple VM, which has been hosted on in the same subnet here. For understanding this, you have been created a two VMs here, server 1 and server 2, and you have been created another subnet here that's called finance here, and we are trying to see how subnet to subnet communication it's been coming on in the same region and the same VNet here. Another case we are trying to see what will happen if you have another VNet, for example, like take it's like your non-prod network here, because when you go back on in your project, don't expect that all your resources are configured on in the same network. No, you will have a different VNet, or you may be having a different subnet. You are going to get a mix of environment there. So I'm just seeing, or I'm taking another scenario here. Take a situation in your east to west location. You have a two network it's been available. One it's been your prod VNet, and the second one it's been your non-prod VNet. In that case, like if you have a database server or your application server is being hosted on into a different VNet on the same data center, do we have any kind of communication? You may be having such kind of requirement may be coming. Think a situation like your production servers are hosted on in a prod VNet and your application server is been on in another VNet on the same location. You may be remembering in a on-premises or a legacy kind of a scenario, we used to enable a switch-to-switch communication with the help of a concept called routing, right? Now, let's see how practically can be done on in a cloud scenario here. Take a situation like multiple VNet are available, both are configured with a different range of IP schema. Do we need to enable any kind of routing, or do we have any service which will provide you this NATing or routing feature, which will allow you to enable a communication here? That is the discussion we are trying to simulate it here. For understanding that, I'm trying to create one more network. Name of the network I'm giving, it's a non-prod. I'm trying to create on in a east to west location. And on top of that, we are trying to create a VM. Name of the VM we are trying to give, it's a server 4 that's going to be placed on the non-prod network here. Trying to enable that server 4. Trying to connect it here. Non-prod network here. Just go back. Production. Server 4. Trying to enable this one. Networking. I'm trying to create a different network here. Non-prod. Subnet C or subnet D, I'll take it. Review and create it here. Review and create it here. You may be able to see this pin progressing here. So on in a different VNet on in the same data center we are trying to create. You can see this deployment. Right now it's been progressing here. You can see this has been created here. Now you may be able to see here. You have a virtual machine has been created. Server 4 on the same location where my other 3 VMs are created here. That's in the East US location. But this time you may be notice one interesting part. We are not use the existing prod here. Instead of that, we have been created a new network, and name of the network we are given it's a non-prod here. So technically, you may be able to see right. You may be able to see like you may be able to see like you have a non-prod available here. You may be able to see here. With the help of that, you can able to see on in the cloud side here. Now the question is been coming: do we have any kind of communication? It's been possible here, or is there any kind of routing or any kind of configuration to be enabled from our side here? That may be the one testing we are trying to do it here. Let's go and see that one here. Before that, let me try to create one more server on in a different data server. That will give you a confidence. In case if I have a multi-region concept, it's been available on in your infrastructure. For example, like your database server and your application are hosted on in a different data center, how the communication will be enabled here. I'm just giving you another scenario. For example, like server 6, it's been configured on in a North Europe location here. Let's go and see how the communication has been coming here. Just trying to create that. Networking here. It's been given it's a sales VNet. I'm trying to create that. 10.3 dot series here. Subnet E I'm just giving 10.3.0.0.24 here. It's been created, review and created here. You can see the creation, it's in progress here. Let's wait for this to complete here. Review and create here. Validation completed. So we are trying to create one more VM, one in a different data center. What is the purpose of this VNet here? We are trying to simulate what will happen if you have a VNet are configured between different regions here. Let's go and see that. You can see this creation. It's in progress here. Right now, this another network also it's been ready here. If you go back on the server here, you may be able to see like you have a 6 server has been available, and the last one it's been created on the different locations here, right? You may be able to see it's been created onto the different location here. Now we are trying to see like you have another solution has been available. So how practically you can able to enable a communication? What are the options has been supported here? So take a scenario here, like if you go back to your infrastructure here, think a situation like Gumball, I request you to mute your mic, please. I'm just trying to enable one more network here. So if you see here, I have a non-prod was been created on the same region, but the sales VNet I just been enabled on in a North Europe location here. So definitely the people having a question here, what will happen in case if you have a network which has been completely it's been configured on in a different locations here? What are the possibilities we have? Do we need to enable any kind of a communication, or what is the option is been available on Indra Cloud here, which will allow you to enable a communication between a data center to data center on Microsoft side here. So for understanding that, we have been created the sales VNet here. I just created a sales VNet, and we have been created another resource here with a subnet E here. We just created with a subnet E here. So we have been placed the another server here inside this. It's the name of the server we have given. It's a server 5 here. So we are trying to see a simulation. First one, subnet, within a subnet, how the communication is going on. Second case, we are trying to see subnet to subnet. Third one, we are trying to see a VNet to VNet here, one VNet to another VNet. And the fourth one, we are trying to see like one data center to another data center here. So these are a few important case study we are trying to simulate it here. So with the help of that, you can able to go and enable a intra subnet or a inter subnet communications here. So that may be the important point all of us need to remember here. So you may be able to see like you have option has been available here. So with the help of that, you can able to enable here, right? So you may be able to see like you have a different resources are available and how practically you can able to make the communication here. So let's consider the first scenario here. You have a two servers has been created onto the portal here. You can see here. Am I audible to you? Yeah, look like the mic has been muted. Yeah. So I'm just trying to see here what are the possibilities we have here. Let's go and see here. I'm just trying to connect it here. So right now I'm just trying to see here. If you go back onto the cloud here, if you see here, these are the first two servers here. Both these servers are hosted on in the same network here. You may be able to see like you have a solution has been available. You can just configure here. I'm trying to see you. Just trying to connect it. I'm just trying to get it here. I'm just trying to connect the server here. So we are just trying to see this a subnet to subnet communication here. So let's see here. You can see here the configuration has been possible here. Right now you can see here. You have a server is been ready here. Let's connect to the another server here. I'm just getting on the other side. You can see that. Connected here. I'm just disabling a firewall for testing here. I'm just disable this firewall here because I just want to show you how subnet to subnet communications are happening here. For understanding that, let me just disable this firewall here. Any questions before that? It's almost an hour now. Any questions from anyone? I hope you are able to follow me. Can you just comment it on the chat? I believe you are able to follow me. Do you need a break? A 5 minutes quick break? Let's take a 5 minutes break. Then we can see this communication part here. Let's take a quick break, okay? Not a complete one. Because almost an hour now. I can see people will start feeling boring this one topic. So let's take a quick break here. Thank you. Break here. We'll complete this VNet peering possibly in another 1 hour. We'll able to finish that one. So possibly like another 30 minutes, we'll try to finish that one here. Now, right now we may be seeing here, when you start working on in the cloud here, you have a couple of resources has been available. We have it created across multiple devices here. If you see this cloud here, when you start creating here, just give me a second. Okay, so right now we have it two servers has been here, server 1 and server 2 here. Let's go and see how this communication has been coming within the same network. Because server 2, if you take here, server 2, it's been available on in the same subnet, whereas my first server has been hosted here. So is there any kind of communication has been available here? For example, if you try to connect it this subnet here, you can see I'm trying to connect to the second server also here. Connected here. Server 1 and server 2 both are part of the same subnet here. So think a situation like if you have a multiple VNet are available and all the resources are configured on in the same location, what will be the conditions here? So that may be the point we are trying to see it here. Let's see that. You can see. You can see here. You can see here this location. It's been created here. You have been available here. You can see this has been ready here. So if I'm trying to connect it here, like 10.0.0.4, see here, this been a wrong command. Enter here. See, if you are able to see like if you have a resources been configured on in the same subnet here, you can see by default it will be able to communicate each other without any issues here. See, automatically will be able to configure. Automatically you can able to see like you have a resources been available on in the cloud here, right? That's the way you can able to see on in the solutions here, right? That way you may be able to see like you have a solution is been available where you can able to connect it here. Now what is the option is been available here? But practically you can able to getting a message here. Tomorrow if there is any kind of resources, if you've been hosted on in the same subnet, by default the communications are enabled. You don't need to make any kind of configurations here. So I'm saying like if you have a subnet on in the same VNet and the same regions here. So that may the point you need to remember here. So let me give you some details about that. I'm just trying to make it a note for you. I'm just giving a note for you, like what will happen if you have a resources here. So if you have a two resources been configured on in the same location, by default, you can able to communicate each other. You don't need to configure here. By default, this communication has been possible here. In case if you want to restrict, you may have to enable a feature called NSGF. By default, this will be possible here. I just pasted the details on the chat here. Within a subnet, how the communication has been possible here. So you don't need to have any kind of routing is been needed here. So that may be the important point all of us need to remember on in the cloud here. So by default, all the kind of the communication by default it's been possible here. I just given all the technical note on that here on the chat. You can refer that one here. Now, what will happen if you have a different subnet here? For example, like I have a server 3. It's been placed on in a same VNet, but on in a different subnet here. Let me connect to that server. I'm just trying to connect it here. Trying to connect it here. You can see here the same server 3 is been available. You can see. You can see the sub creation. It's in progress. You may be able to see here this been progressing here. You can see this being connected here now. Now let's go and see here. I'm trying to ping to the first server here, and IP address of the first server, all of us are already aware. It's a 10.0.0.4 here. You can see subnet to subnet communication. If both are on in the same VNet, you can able to enable it here. So the point here, if you see here, Microsoft is saying, in case if you have a different subnet has been configured on the same VNet, by default, I'm allowing a communication, bidirectional communication from here to here. In case if you want to make any kind of a blocking, you can enable a service at the subnet level, and the service name it's known as a NSG. Make sense? So subnet to subnet on the same VNet, by default, it's been possible on in the cloud here. Even though it's been subnets are used for isolation here, by default subnet to subnet communication by default can able to do without any kind of additional configurations here. So you don't make any kind of changes here. By default itself, this will be supported here. So that may be an important point. All of us need to remember here. By default, the communication, it's been possible here without any kind of restrictions here. Now, in case if you want to do, or in case if you want to make any kind of a restrictions here, that can be possible by adding a NSG at the VNIC level or subnet level. So you have option to configure here in case if you want to restrict. That's been possible by adding a configuration at the NSG, which can be mapped at the NSG level here. That may be one important point. All of us can able to use it here. So you may be able to see like that's the way it's been done here. You can see here, that's the important point. You can see it here. So that's maybe the one point you can see, and possible like I can add one more options here. There is another solution has been available. Routing information, right? How the routing it's been happening. Let me give you one more configuration details here, routing summary on that case. This may be also it's been interested for you. You can see here. There's another point you can able to remember here. Is that the option has been clear? That's maybe the one point you can see here. So that's about the subnet to subnet communication here. Now, what about it's like on in the other side here? It's called VNet to VNet communication. That means if you have a resources has been configured on in a different VNet, how practically you can able to communicate here. Christian, it's not finished here. It's like we're just trying to finish this topic here. It will take a few more minutes here. We're just trying to see this a VNet peering, then we'll finish here. Just give us another 10 more minutes. Great. So let's go and see the second part also here. You will be getting the attendance link soon on the chat here. And whoever has been registering on the attendance link here, you will be getting a certificate also here. Yes, Amor, I'm just coming to that point. A VNet to VNet communication, how it's been happening here. Now, if you see Amor here, you have a server 4. It's been created on in a different VNet, but on in the same region. Yes, see, if you see here, this has been running on in the East US location. You can able to see like configured on in a non-prod network here. See, now let's go and see here. And parallelly, you can able to fill the form where you can able to get the certificate here. There is a link it's been given. So what is the name to be printed on in your certificate? Try to give the same name here because there won't be any modification we'll be doing. So use that certificate link here. I can see Mariappan, you got some questions here. Mariappan, you would like to ask some questions? Mariappan, you raise the hand. Do you have any questions? Okay. Right now we are trying to see a more like a VNet to VNet communication. Right now you can see I'm trying to connect to a server which has been configured on in a different VNet on the same data center here. Let's see that. Right on this creation, it's been progressing here. It will take a few seconds. Right now this has been loading here. Allow this to communicate. Right now you can see here. I'm trying to ping the first server 10.0.0.4, and you may be seeing like, see, even though both the VNet are configured on in the same data center, I'm not able to communicate here. See, there is no option is been available here, and it's not allowing us to communicate each other here. See, you may be seeing here, this is not allowing us to communicate here. You are getting a error message here. See, you may be seeing like you are getting an error message here. It's saying that the communication is been not possible here. So even though it's been using a Microsoft backbone network, one VNet to another VNet communication, by default, it's been not possible, even though if it is been on in the same region here. So that's been not possible here. So communication by default, Microsoft has been not supporting here. You may have to enable a additional configuration called VNet peering until unless if the communications are not enabled with the VNet peering, you will not be in a position to communicate each other here. So that's maybe the one important point all of us need to note down on in your same region here. So by default, the communication has been not possible. You need to enable a option called VNet peering. Until unless the VPN peering it's been not enabled, you will not be in a position to communicate each other here. I just pasted that details also on the chat here. And the same thing happening on in a another region also. For example, like a server 6 here, if you are trying to connect it here, if you go to the server 6 here, I'm just trying to connect to the server 6 here. Trying to connect it here. trying to connect it here, so where you can able to enable that. You can see here, this has been clear. You can see here, this has been progressing here. You can see here, this is another server is been connected. Now, if you try to see this communication here being 10.0.0.4, you may be seeing it's not able to communicate either. See, so the point here, whenever you start working on in a different VNet on in the cloud, also you may be seeing, right, communication is been not possible here. How the communication can be enabled here? There is a concept we are using called VNet peering here. How the peering it's been done? You can able to use on the virtual network, your peering can be enabled here. In case if you want to enable any kind of a communication here, you can go to the properties of the VNet. You may be able to see there is an option called peering here. Here you can able to go and add the peering option. For example, like prod VNet, if they want to communicate to non-prod here, they can just enable a peering here. I'm saying I want to go and make it trusting here. So I can just connect this non-prod here. The moment when you enable this trusting, on the backend, Microsoft has been enabling a routing here. See, I just added here. This is for my understanding why I'm just selecting this link. I'm just saying like this is for my enabling the communication here. You can see there is a 2 routing rule. It's been added here. The moment when you enable the peering, it's been adding a bidirectional connection between these two VNet here. Right now you can see the peering it's been enabled. Right now you can see the prod to non-prod connection is been enabled. And if you go to the non-prod properties also, you may be able to see there is a link. It's been created for reverse also here. So you don't need to enable any kind of routing, Emmanuel here. The moment when you enable a VNet peering, routing will be enabled by the VNet peering by itself. So you don't need to enable any kind of routing here. If you see here, right now we have been enabled the communication. Now you see routing it's been enabled on the backend. Now the communication it's been possible here. So the moment when you are enabling a VNet peering, Microsoft it's automatically it's been enabling a routing here. And right now if you see here, the same exercise you can do for connecting to the other data center also. In case if you want to enable a peering between prod and sales VNet, the same option you can do. Here you need to select the other VNet which has been placed on in other data center here. And you may be notice here, right now I have been created only one peering, right? Now, if you are thinking from a network architect point of view, up to 500 VNet peering you can able to enable on in a same subscription. Right now I have been enabled only one. Similar way, if you have a multiple network and if you are part of a project where you are been hosting a complex infrastructure, then that kind of a situation you can able to enable up to 500 VNet peering here. So you have an option to enable multi VNet or a multiple VNet kind of a communication. With the help of that, you can able to enable a solutions here. So this may be the one interesting point all of us need to remember here. With the help of that, you can able to enable a region to region communication, or you can able to enable a communication between a different VNet on in the same data center here. Make sense? Any questions? I'll just pose it to you. Any questions from anyone? A more like a VPN gateway. It's been another service we are using here. Even you can able to use a VPN gateway also. VPN gateway, I'll be discussing on in another concept. Even VPN gateway also it's been used for sending a encrypted traffic here. In case for one VNet to another one, you can able to configure a VPN gateway. In case if anyone want to configure a VPN gateway, we need to have some kind of a components is being needed, like a gateway subnet, local network gateway, or there is a connection broker also it's been, or connection link also it's been needed here. This has been covered in another topic called VPN. Microsoft has been supporting basically three type of VPN here. One is known as a site-to-site VPN. Basically, we are using from on-prem to cloud kind of a configurations here. Another one it's called a point-to-site here, and another one it's been like a Microsoft Azure Express Route here. I'll be covering this topic on in another webinar. It's called Microsoft Azure Security here. You will be getting for that. Neil, we are not providing any lab here. We have been guided the people for using a free account here. You can able to make use of a free account which is getting a 1 month validity. You can create a free account and you can able to configure that here. Emmanuel, Microsoft Azure Bastion, it's a topic here where you can able to enable a intermediate server for connecting here. So that's the way normally it's been enabled. Like you may be heard about gateway server, or you may be heard about a jump host or a jump server, right? Azure Bastion service, it's a replacement for that. It's a PaaS service. That means all the hardware or instance completely managed by the Microsoft here. You can able to enable that one here. It's not a free product. It's going to be a replacement for your jump server, which normally has been kept on in the perimeter side here. No, we cannot create any portal or we cannot use any portal for without a subscription. The moment when you are creating a free account, there will be a subscription will be created. That has got a validity of a 30 days and a $200 here. So with the help of that, you can able to create and you can able to practice also here. No, then it's like a pairing with the on-prem server. Normally we'll be do with the help of a VPN that's called S2S. VPN is being needed here. Or in case if you're trying to integrate your Active Directory, you will be using a AD Connect. With the help of that replication, we'll be doing. Recording already it's been uploaded on the Discord link, which Surag is already it's been uploaded or updated on in the chat here. I think we had a long session today, 5 to 6. You will have another webinar has been coming. Please join the WhatsApp group and the Discord channel where you'll be getting all the training notifications here. So thank you team for a long sessions here. I hope you have been really enjoying here. So you can just comment on the chat here. And thank you, Surag, for all the coordination here. Initially, we started with some Teams issue, but with the help of Surag, we have been sorted out within 3 or 4 minutes here. Thank you, Surag. Surag, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Robin, for the session as well. I hope we went over a lot of things since we took a long time. And I hope you guys have taken out something after spending all this time here. And I have also shared the link for certificate that will be provided after a couple of minutes or let's say an hour, because I want to give everybody the time to fill out the form. And after that, we will process it and it will be sent to your email. So make sure you fill out the email as accurately as possible without any errors. Yeah, I have also shared our community link to get the updates about the upcoming sessions that I will be having. Robin itself will be sharing having session again on the security that we'll have it probably end of this month. The date is not decided, but we will announce it in the community. So make sure you be in the community. And if there are people who are not using Discord, I will share the Facebook and also the WhatsApp community links where you can join us over WhatsApp as well. Okay. Thank you again, everybody, for joining us, taking the time, and I hope to see you in our upcoming sessions as well. Yeah, and have a great rest of the day, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, team. Having a great evening. Bye. Thank you.